Morning, everybody. Today is May 20th, 2022. I'd like to call the order of the Troy IDA meeting. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from April 1st, 2022. Do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion.
Latasha.
Latasha? Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second. Albert.
Albert? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Next item on the agenda is the pilot restructuring for the 2920 Fifth Avenue property. Steve?
Okay, this is School One. School One, I'm gonna let Justin walk you through the whole thing.
Oh, sure. This is a project the IDA undertook back in 2016, the redevelopment of former School One, kind of in North Central. There was a Redburn project, primarily. They financed it in 2017 in part with historic tax credits, and their lender structure with the historic tax credits utilized a master lease structure. So when we closed the transaction back in 2016 and 2017, they utilized their LLC as the owner with a master tenant as a guarantor under the IDA documents. Fast forward to 2022, the good news is they're moving into their permanent financing and taking out the master tenant structure that was associated with their tax credits. They're refinancing with Key Bank, and it's a Freddie Fannie-backed permanent mortgage, which is good news. They're stabilizing the building. The IDA will participate in the financing on a non-recourse basis, as is typical, without any new financial assistance. As part of the refinancing and restructuring of the ownership, they're taking out that master tenant, so they've asked to release this entity that's just going to be dissolved and wound up. So the resolution that we have presented before the meeting is just an authorization to allow them to continue owning and operating with the permanent financing in place and just taking out one layer of a guarantor in the IDA documents. So the good news is I think they're closing before the end of this month. I think next week, so I got to meet with you at some to allow that. There's no real fundamental change to the transaction of the documents or the ownership. They're just taking out one little layer that was included in the financing for purposes of tax credits that are now all inured to the investors. So the good news is it's a good project. They're not under stress. They're getting permanently financed, and we're just asking the board to consent to release a guarantor.
Anybody have any questions for Justin Miller or Steve? Okay.
Just really no change to us. Moving one layer.
No, yeah, no change to us. We're just going to be requesting to release one of the guarantors on that.
Yep.
Okay. There's no questions or comments. Do we have a motion to approve the release of the guarantor?
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Josh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great. Thanks, Justin. Steve, next item on the agenda, the executive director's report.
Okay, the update is the Lion Factory, the standard manufacturing building, is scheduled to close on June 16th, which brings significant revenue to us when it happens. And it looks like 171 River Street, the Riverwalk, they're starting to push for wanting to close that one too. So I'll believe that when I see it, but that might be revenue to us as well in the near future. What else? I think that's all I have for IDA right now.
Okay, anyone have any questions or comments for Steve? All right, I think Matt will be presenting the financials. So Matt?
first report is our statement of financial position. As of April 30th, our total assets are $572,771.45, $571,387.74 in cash, $52,620.51 in liabilities, so our fund balance is $520,150.94. Most significant change to the statement of financial position is the sale of the M-Lock parcel.
And remember that M-Lock parcel was subdivided, so we still have half of it that we're gonna discuss at a future date, giving to the city. So I need to speak with the city council about that, and then we'll be back on that one.
Our next report is the statement of activities. For the month of April, we have a deficit of $2,821.16. There are no significant sources of revenue, and the largest expense is the accounting fees.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Anyone have any questions or comments regarding the financials?
Can you just talk about the aging report, the two accounts that are on there?
Yeah, so the accounts receivable number for the $1,000 are the admin fees from Old World Provisions and 10 River Street. Reminders were sent out in early May. I'll work with Steve on possibly emailing those to right people.
I'll reach out to them today.
And then the accounts payable are the pilot fee, is the pilot for 444 River Street and Hudson Art House late fee pilots, but those were paid in early May.
Gotcha. So that balance is actually zero.
Correct.
Perfect. Anyone else have any comments or questions regarding the financials? Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the financials?
I'll make the motion. Albert.
Albert, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Stephanie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Great. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, and Justin, I'd just like to clarify that statement I made, just because I know there's a lot of new board members on here. The M-Lock parcel was subdivided so that a portion of it would be used for 701 River Street, the Marshall Ray Building, as parking. And then the developers put a bike trail across the other piece of it. Most of it is down on the river. Most of it's not usable piece. But so we have a bike trail across it, so that will go back to the city as part of the bike trail. So that's why we retain that portion. Plus, that's why we retain that portion.
Okay.
I want to clarify that.
Thanks for clarifying, Steve. All right. Nothing else on the agenda, so do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Stephanie, do we have a second?
Tasha's
Latasha?
here.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.